This is the 2026 Chevrolet Equinox, and in today's Vehicle Visionary video, I'm going to tell you why this is a reasonably priced crossover. Hey everybody, it's Tom from Vehicle Visionary. I hope you're having a great day. We're at Red River Chevrolet in Bossier City, Louisiana today. If you want to know more about this Equinox RS, check out the link down in the description of the video. And there are a few changes to talk about, not so much to the Equinox itself, but in available options and where you can find those options. And we start with the roof rails, which are no longer included in the convenience package 2 for the LT trim level models. The black roof rails will now be offered with the Midnight Edition package, or they're going to be bundled together with the optional sunroof on LT models. And no matter the trim level you choose for your 26 Equinox, every trim level comes with a drive mode selector as standard equipment. And last but not least, as far as our changes go, Polar White Tri-Coat will replace Iridescent Pearl Tri-Coat on active and RS trim levels. Here is the remote you're going to find on the 26 model. Obviously no changes from 2025 because we just saw a full redesign for 2025. One thing that is nice with the remote is when you need to use remote start, you don't have to lock the vehicle. You're just going to push that button 2 times. It will automatically lock on its own and then it starts. In case you were wondering about that, that is how that feature works. We're gonna have lock, unlock, and we can open our power tailgate with the button right there and your panic button. Now here on the front end, you will have full LED lighting. You'll have your LED headlights, LED daytime running lights. You'll also have your fog lights located down here on the lower portion of the bumper below the projector beam. Headlights, still LED, but tell me what you think about that. But I would have to say a nice design overall as far as what we have here surrounding the headlight. You have the Chevrolet logo right there. I hope that shows up on the screen. RS logo here on the front end along with your Chevrolet logo. This particular model is going to be front wheel drive, but all wheel drive is available, and these are the 20-inch wheels. As far as your side view mirrors go, they're going to be manually folding side view mirrors. They're heated and they're power adjustable. You'll also find blind spot monitoring built in right there. The only thing I am a little surprised at that you don't see here are turn signal indicators built into the side view mirrors. Tell me what your thoughts are where that is concerned. The button right here is passive entry, so you can walk up and lock and unlock all 4 doors from the passenger side or the driver's side over there. But the only thing I wish was different, if it's going to be on the front door handles, I think it should also be on the rear. You've already seen the roof rails up there. We're gonna have the panoramic sunroof, and our rear window spoiler will be here as well. It gives it a nice finishing touch, and we'll finish things off here with our LED lighting on the rear on the tail lights. Standard across all trim levels of the 26 Equinox will be the singular powertrain that is available. It's a 1.5 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. However, there are going to be some differences depending on if you go front wheel drive or all wheel drive. In this case, we have front wheel drive. That means 175 horsepower and 184 pounds-feet of torque. If you go all wheel drive, the horsepower number jumps up to 203. The other difference is going to surround the transmission. Front wheel drive will have a CVT, and if you're saying, Tom, I don't want a CVT in my new Equinox, is there another option? Yes, there is. You will have to go all-wheel drive, but that will allow you to have an 8-speed automatic transmission. And in the case of this particular model here are the MPGs, we're looking at 26 city, 29 highway, 27 combined, and 3.7 gallons of gas per every 100 miles driven. When it comes to the gas tank, front-wheel drive will have a gas tank size of 14.8 gallons. All-wheel drive will go a little bit larger at 15.6 gallons. When it comes to gaining access to your cargo space, there's a couple of different options for that. There's a button on the tailgate, there's a button on the remote, there's also a button on the interior, or you can just walk up here. You hear all those beeps and see the lights flashing. I'm not doing anything with my hand whatsoever. That is the hands-free functionality, something that came as of 2025 on the Equinox. Now, if you happen to walk up to the rear of your Equinox and it's equipped with that feature, here's how you make sure it's working if you have some trouble. Come here to your center screen. We're going to go to settings first, and then we're going to head to vehicle. We're going to scroll right here to comfort and convenience. Come here to hands-free exterior storage access and make sure it's set to open only and that it's not set to off. Cargo capacity ranges between 29.8 up to 63.5 cubic feet. That will obviously vary depending on whether or not your rear seat backs are in the upright position or folded down as they are right now. You will find cargo lighting back here on each side of the vehicle. That's going to be very helpful after dark. And you'll also find a spare tire underneath the floor. That's going to be a 17-inch spare tire, but you know what? It's good to know that it's here, bringing a lot of peace of mind. The exterior color on this model is called Lakeshore Blue. The interior is black with red accents. Hopefully that shows up nicely on the screen. You can see the red accents right here. I also like the red and blue contrast stitching that is right there. We're gonna have plenty of room with the armrest, but you know, if you watch me regularly, what I don't like about this armrest is this area that's angled right here. Well, that's the way the door panel is designed. I would like to see that be completely flat. It just seems that it would make the armrest more comfortable when it's set up that way. We'll also have our door bin right here. And something I would like to see on more vehicles, a lot of the time when you lower the seats and the seat belt moves out of the way like that, when you put it back in place, let's see if we can make this happen on purpose. Notice how the seat belt's now stuck behind the seat. I like what Chevrolet has done here in that you can take the seat belt, see that little notch right there? You can stick it in there, get the seat belt out of the way, and now it's no problem. Tell me what you think about that. I think that's a win by Chevrolet. And we'll find the latch system right here. The only downside of that, although it's not the end of the world, is that you do have that cover to keep up with. It'd be nice if it was hinged or something along those lines, maybe spring-loaded, something like that. We'll also find the panoramic sunroof. There is a power shade that can be drawn forward, and that front portion will open. How about our fold-down armrest with the cup holders built in? There it is. Again, if you watch me regularly, I don't like the parallel setup right here. I'd rather have them vertical. That way this area is always available to use as an armrest. The outboard seats are heated. There are the controls. And then we also have our air conditioning vents and a couple of USB ports. Something else that I like here is the flat floor. That way, when the middle seat passenger is sitting there, they don't have the transmission tunnel to deal with, making things a lot easier as far as comfort goes. And how about the sticker price? I know a lot of people are going to say that's not a reasonable price, but if you consider the price of many vehicles in this day and age, this is the top trim level, and it's loaded out tremendously. I think it's a reasonable price, $38,285. Would it be nice to see a lower price? Absolutely. But that's how it's priced right now. And I like what you can see here as far as the interior color goes. The red really standing out and making everything look very nice. Now, there are a couple of nice features here that are going to make you very happy. One of those features is going to be the fact that you have a power passenger seat. At that price point, you better, right? And you can raise and lower the seat. You also have lumbar support for the passenger. There's also going to be the pass-through located right here under the center console. That's going to have some advantages as far as additional storage space goes, and you'll have things such as your typical glove box. We'll also find a sunglass holder right here. I am actually starting to see sunglass holders not being in the interior of more and more vehicles in this day and age. You'll manage the power shade right here that I mentioned earlier in the video. There is that power shade, and obviously you can manage the sunroof position there as well with the buttons up here. We'll also find the rear camera mirror. So you can use this as a conventional camera, or you can use it as a mirror. That's very nice and very convenient. Look over here to the driver's side door, seat memory for the driver's side. Although this is not a super high-end vehicle by any means, I still feel no matter what the price point is, if you have seat memory on the driver's side, it should also be on the passenger side. Nice large armrest, a little bit larger than what we saw with the rear doors, as is the case with the door bins. The driver and the passenger seats are going to be heated and ventilated. The RS logo will be in the headrest right there, and you can see the red as well as your red and blue contrast right here with your contrast stitching, your red piping, the blue contrast stitching. That really gives this interior a nice look to it. We'll also find everything for adjusting our side view mirrors here, our windows. Everything's here, lock and unlock. If you're looking for auto hold for your brakes, there's the button for that. And to turn the auto stop start feature off, there's the button to do that. And here's your power parking brake. You have a manually adjustable, drop that lever right there, tilt and telescopically adjustable steering wheel. The good news is that you can adjust that. Everything over here for your cruise control and your front and rear window wipers are going to be controlled here. And here is your shifter. I know a lot of you would rather have the more conventional style shifter as opposed to a push button shifter. Over here on the right hand side of the steering wheel, you can change things with the radio, voice commands. You can turn your heated steering wheel off and on right there. We're not going to need that again in Northwest Louisiana until likely late November. It's going to be a long time. And here is our 11-inch driver's display. And you might say, you know what, Tom, I don't like the way that looks. What are my options? Via the button right here, you can change that. And here's how you do it, or here's how it's going to look, we'll say. You just push that button. There's your navigation. If you need that, that shows you that we have built-in navigation. A lot of you ask about that. There is our third option. There's option number 4. That's the clean look, we'll say. And then we get back to where we started. I'm going to leave that right there. And we'll find our knob right here for controlling the volume and turning the radio on and off. And this is the 11.3-inch touchscreen. I've already given you a little bit of a look at it. You have Google Assistant right there, your Play Store, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto. Those are going to be grayed out right here because I don't have anything connected right now. And you also have your multiple camera views. That is very convenient. I like that. You have the overhead view. There is your front view camera. There is the rear view camera. And one thing I wanted to show you that you may not know is here. Let's just say for some reason you notice that your rear camera for the rear view mirror is dirty. Well, you don't have to get out and clean that. All you have to do, there is a button on the back of the steering wheel right there. We're going to push up right there on that. And here's what's going to happen. It's going to spray windshield washer fluid across that camera in case you are curious about that. And we have our additional camera views here to talk about overhead views, a little bit of everything. Your side view mirror cameras are going to be here in addition to that. So very nice, very convenient, depending on what you need to see. And if you need to make things a little bit wider with your rear view camera, there's how you do that. You saw what I just did right there. And then we're going to head back to our screen. Show you a couple more things here. You have climate control controls here, but that's not all there is. Don't worry, you also have your physical controls right here. I like that. That's always convenient. Everything for your heated and your ventilated seats. I'm going to leave the ventilated seats on right there. But just to show you a little bit of what is here, we'll go over to our screen right here. You can see your controls right here. And here are some things you might want to know about. There's where you're going to control your dome light right there. Your auto high beams will be right there. Quite a bit going on. So it's not hard to figure this out. You can turn your fog lights on right there. It's just that you have to use your hunt and peck method sometimes to do that. And one more thing I wanted to show you. How do you turn your headlights on? You can set them to auto. As you can see, there is the control right there. You can set them to auto. You can turn them on, whatever you need to do. Go to off if you want to. Just depends on what your personal preference is. Now let me go back here to settings because there are a couple more things that I know you want to know about. I'm not going to show you everything that's here, or at least not go into great detail about it. But one of the most common questions I receive has to do with the safety features. So let's go right here to our collision and detection systems. Now you can adjust the alert type right there. You have forward collision avoidance, front pedestrian braking, intersection collision braking, adaptive cruise go notifier, side bicyclist alert. You will have lane change alert and park assist with braking. A pretty simple system to use. depending on where you need to go, there are things you can turn on and off. You can see some of our controls and safety as far as that goes. Very convenient and easy to use. Down here we'll have some storage space. You'll have your wireless charging pad right here. And earlier in the video I talked about the drive mode selector, and you might wonder what the drive modes are. Well, here they are. You're going to have normal, and then you're going to have snow and ice. And then we go back to normal. You'll also find your cup holders, a little bit of space in front of the center console. The center console lid can be used as an armrest, and within the center console you have the removable tray. That doesn't have to stay in place. And there is the overall space available within the center console itself. All right, here we go on our test drive. And some of you may wonder, how hard is it to get up to speed with the Equinox? Well, it's only hard when you have slower moving vehicles in front of you. We're not going to be able to do too much here, but I can tell you from previous experience in these Equinox models that getting up to speed is not a big deal. You're not expecting neck-snapping performance, but when it comes to getting down the road, you are able to do it just fine. Not a big deal where that is concerned. Now, change lanes here real quick. The overall ride quality seems to be good. I'm comfortable. Depending on the road surface that you're on, well, that can vary a little bit, but as far as what I've driven on so far, it seems to handle any little bumps in the road without any trouble whatsoever. No big deal where that is concerned. The seats themselves seem to be nice and comfortable, so I'm pretty sure you could have a nice long road trip and stay comfortable for a long period of time. Those of you who own a 2025, or maybe you've already purchased a 2026 Equinox, can verify that or tell us differently down in the comments section. Now, one thing that I know I have a lot of people talk about is how do you keep the cameras on while you're driving? Always curious for those who ask about that. Why would you want to? But the answer to that question as of 2025 with the Equinox, as you can see, the cameras will stay on when you're driving down the road with no trouble whatsoever. If you need to do that, you can see what's going on around you. Of course, you have your rear view camera mirror, so that's not going to be a problem in that respect as well. So overall, the technology is definitely doing a very nice job of taking care of you, depending on what your needs are and what you need to have done and what you're wanting to accomplish when you're driving down the road. The controls here are easy to get to. I do love the fact that you have physical controls for the air conditioning. That's always going to be beneficial in every situation. There are some automakers out there who are going away from physical controls for the air conditioning. I don't think we're going to see Chevrolet do that anytime soon, at least I hope not. Everything else is very easy to get to. Obviously, you have Google Voice. If you need to set things up, you can set up navigation and ask all kinds of questions and get all kinds of information through that, through Google Voice, or excuse me, Google Assistant. And that will make things much more simplified. You can stay focused on driving, keep your hands on the steering wheel. By the way, you do have your controls on the back of the steering wheel. I didn't mention this earlier. Not only your shifter paddles are there, but also the controls for managing the radio. You can change the volume and what you're listening to. Overall, a very well-rounded vehicle, in my opinion. I fit very well here in the driver's seat. There's a lot of adjustability here. So no matter your height, you should be able to set things up to where you're nice and comfortable, not only with the seating position, but also with the steering wheel. And there it is, the 2026 Chevrolet Equinox RS, a reasonably priced crossover, at least in this day and age. Tell me what you think about this particular model. I would like to say a special thanks to my friends at Red River Chevrolet for loaning me this Equinox for the day so I could tell you all about it. And a special thanks to all of you for being kind enough to give me the opportunity to give you a vision for your next vehicle. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to hit the like button. That's very helpful to me. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And please be sure to share this video on your timelines on social media so other people can see it. If you would like to learn about additional vehicles you may wish to consider purchasing, check out the video that's on the screen right now, and I will see you there.